Okay, so far in this class we've talked a little bit about designing, we've talked a little bit about computers, a little bit about programming, a little bit about pseudocode, a little bit about a whole bunch of stuff, okay? Grading your stuff, one thing I've noticed with a few people, if I ask for it in a specific format, like if it's a Python file, give me a Python file, but if it's pseudocode, should it be Python? No, it shouldn't, because pseudocode is non-language dependent. So if I ask you to submit pseudocode, you should really be submitting a text file or a Word file or something, but it shouldn't really be someone, I don't know, a couple people I think actually submitted a Python, .py with the pseudocode in it. Well, that's not really what pseudocode is. Pseudocode should have been in a text file or something, okay? The reason is, if you give that to someone, they don't know what Python is, they might not even be able to open it, okay? So that could become an issue. So when you submit stuff, just submit it in whatever format I'm asking for, if it's a snapshot or a document or whatever. Okay. Now let's talk a little bit more about designing using pseudocode and all that. I need, it's night. Okay, this will work. Okay. I want to write some pseudocode to convert gallons to liters. Okay? So I want a program that, actually, no, let's not do that one. Well, yeah, let's do that one, because you guys already have the homework of Fahrenheit to centigrade, don't you? Celsius? You'll have that one. So let's do gallons to liters. Is that one on? No, I don't think that one's on the homework. Is it on homework? Does anyone recognize it? I don't think it is. Gallons to liters. Is that one on there? Because there's liters to milk or something. Then there's number of tribbles. That's your next one.
Is that one with pounds and kilograms?
Pounds,
kilograms, and then Fahrenheit to Celsius.
Okay, so we're not doing gallons to liters. When do you think it would be? First of all, when do you think I would want to know? Yes.
The whole Celsius Fahrenheit thing. Were we supposed to do that?
That's not due today. It's due the 11th, I think, or the 9th, isn't it? Hold on. Let's figure that out. Let me pause this recording till I figure out what the heck we're doing.
Okay.
All right, so now, for homework 1 is pseudocode. For homework 2 is the same thing, but in Python code. And for Miss Natalie Portman here, scroll down and get both of them.
Yeah, I'll do part 2.
All right, so let's talk about what the heck pseudocode is again, just to refresh our brains. Okay, I obviously have a pool. I mentioned it earlier. I had to close my pool this weekend, and it's an in-ground pool. So has anyone ever done that before? Well, what I do, I drain the water somewhat, partially. Then I blow air through the entire system to get it out of all the lines. That way I can plug them all up. Okay. Well, the way I do it is I have this kind of like a reverse vacuum machine that I just plug into a skimmer and just blows air through it. Well, I don't like the way the connection works, so I had to come up with a better way of connecting it. So what I did was I looked at what I had and I was looking at what I needed, and I kind of designed it in my head, and actually even a little bit on a piece of paper what sizes I needed. Okay? So I kind of knew what I needed. I went to Lowe's, I bought all the different components, and then actually assembled it. Okay? Do you think I could have just assembled it without any thought or without any design behind it? It would have been very hard because I wouldn't even have known the sizes. I wouldn't have known nothing. So I actually had to figure out what I needed, come up with a design, even though it was in my head. That way when I go to the store and buy the components, I have it. Okay. Say you're going to make a rum cake, okay? I go on a lot of cruises, and like in the Caribbean, they sell rum cakes. Well, they're in these boxes, but the rum cake's this big. It's like a bite of a cake. Well, my wife now makes her own, and they're amazing. Okay, but my point is, when you're going to make a rum cake, do you think you design it? In other words, come up with a plan to make it, come up with a recipe, come up with an ingredient list. That's pretty much what pseudocode is. a recipe is pseudocode for cooking. Okay, it is. It's the exact same thing. So, okay, let's write some pseudocode real quick. Who's going home after class? Okay, a few of you are. Tell me how to get home. You don't need to give me an exact address. So, how do we get there? I'm going to go with Natalie first. What are you going to do? From leaving this room, what are you going to do? Okay, so we're going to do start. Walk to car. How are you going to get to the car? You're going to walk through the wall, go out the door, you're going to take the stairs. Exit the building would probably be better, because walking to the car is okay. But how do you walk to the car? I mean, we could go as much as, is it raining outside, and, take 12 steps forward. There's actually an exercise I see students doing all over campus every year. I don't know which class it is. They blindfold them and make them walk all over campus. There's someone directing them. So if Natalie told me she wants to walk to her car and we blindfolded her, could she do it? She basically said, okay, stand up, turn left. Go 3 steps forward. Turn left again. Okay? That would be very detailed. That's probably too much detail. Do you agree that would be a little bit too much? But when writing a program, do we need that much detail? Sometimes we do. Imagine programming a robot. Go to my car. It's going to be like, huh? How do I get out of this room to begin with? Okay? So pseudocode varies on the complexity of it, but you want to be as complex as needed to answer it. So if Natalie was to give me instructions, okay, walk to my car. So I don't know Natalie, I don't know what she drives, so I'm going to exit the building. I'm like, great, there's like 300 cars here. Which car do I go to? I don't know, she didn't tell me that. You see what I'm saying? It could get more detailed. But don't go overboard. It's like, don't take key out of left pocket, left arm 45 degrees, insert into turn car, But that's what pseudocode is, instructions to do stuff that's not in any particular language. Okay? So, you got a homework assignment on conversions. Okay? Let's see, what can we convert that we haven't converted yet? Whether it's not on an assignment. Do we have liters to gallons? I don't think we have liters to gallons, do we? Well, no, that's the one I asked you about. Okay, we're going to do liters to gallons. Okay. We're going to make some pseudocode to convert liters to gallons. Okay. I spent 7 years in Europe. And how long it took me to learn the conversion rate? Day 1. The moment you go buy gas, you're like, oh, great. Because you got to pay ahead of time. First of all, when you're overseas, you buy coupons for gas. I was in the military, okay? So basically, gas is very expensive downtown. But I could buy it on base for normal gas prices. So I buy coupons. So many hundreds of liters or whatever coupons. Then you go to the German gas station and you basically give them the coupons first. Okay? Well, if you got an 8-gallon tank, how many liters is that? So you learn I don't remember, it's been too many years now, but you can imagine how quickly we figured it out. Hey, 8 gallons, so that's so many liters. That way, because you don't want to waste them because, literally gas prices are 3 to 4 times more off base than they are on base. So it's crazy. So pseudocode should always start with a start or a terminal character, or really in this, the word, and it should probably end with an end. You don't have to put both of them at the same time, but I see so many people that forget one. Especially writing code to put the starting bracket and forget the ending bracket. If you put both and then go put the stuff in the middle, you got the right number of brackets. Okay? So if we put start and end, now at least we know, it's like when I teach Java, I tell people, name your file, call it whatever, ken.java, and then give it a class name, public class ken, and then compile it. It won't do anything, but at least I know I got it named correctly and the class is named correctly. Then I can add pieces little by little. With Python, same way. You should write piece by piece and make sure it's all equal. So that's why I add both a lot of times. Okay, so we're going to convert gallons to liters. Okay. What do I do next? Anybody? Well, I don't really need a loop yet. What do I need to do first? I need to set a variable, but I probably need something before I set the variable even. I need to get input, like, for one of them. Let's say gallons. Okay? Shouldn't I get input for gallons? Maybe like prompt or print how many gallons. So I'm asking the question, how many gallons? Okay? Now that's just a prompt. That's a, output to the screen. We're not getting an input at this point. Now I want to set it to a variable. A couple of you said that. So how about set gallons to input. I mean, whatever was input. So I prompted for it, and whatever I get input, that's what, I mean, there's really no exact way to do this. Okay? It's kind of like the English language. You can say everything 5 different ways. It's like 222, is it TWO or the TO or the TOO or when to use the darn comma? It drives me crazy. But okay, so now we got input for the number of gallons. Now we need to do something with it. What do you think you might want to do with that if we're going to convert it to liters? What do you think?
Multiply by how many ever liters?
Okay, multiply by, so we're going to probably make a new variable. What would it be called? What do you think? Set liters to gallons times something. So what's the answer? Someone have to tell me what that put right there. How could I possibly figure that out? Google. I think I've heard of that once. So I said, how many gallons in a liter? Okay, how many liters in a gallon then? Liters in a gallon. Can't type. Okay, so gallons to liters, it's basically there's a gallon of milk, weighs about 8 pounds. How many liters? There it is. 1 gallon equals 3.78 for sure. Okay, so now what are we going to do? Liters is equal to
Times 3.78.
how did you get? Okay, 3.78. 378,54118. Just to be precise here. All right. And then maybe output. Gallons. How about we do something like that? Doesn't. Am I spelling gallons right?
It's 2 L's.
That doesn't look right.
Yeah, it doesn't. But
Because you've looked at it too long.
That still doesn't look right. I don't know. Okay.
It just don't look right.
Okay, output gallons, whatever, is equal to liters. Okay. Now what should I do? Are we pretty much done? It's really a basic program. Well, there's one important step we're not doing. Does anyone know what it is? And don't say convert to float or anything. Okay, stat, that would be a good option. Wow, that's like crazy tab. There's still something else we should do. I don't think I've ever mentioned it yet. Why don't we check and make sure it's actually correct?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be a good idea to check our math here? How could we possibly do that? What if I bring up this other tool called calculator? Hit Windows, type calc. So if I said 3 gallons of gas times 3.7854,118 comes out to 11.3562354, correct? So I'm going to go back here. So we're going to say 3 gallons of gas, 11.3562. Is it correct?
Yes. Yes.
Correct. So in other words, not only did we do the logic, but we made sure the logic was correct. Because there's this is what's called tracing. Walk through your program, make sure it actually works. So many people don't do that. They just do it and like, no, dude, that's like totally wrong.
Well, that's basically what we just did for the kilograms of pounds.
Yeah, how do we, because since we have to do it both ways for kilograms and pounds, like,
Well, let's do
how
both
do you
ways.
do that in pseudocode? Because like all I could think of was like if, but I don't know
Okay.
how to, like if and pseudocode.
Okay, so we got the first part done.
Yeah.
Prompt. How many liters? You could do one thing after the other. I mean, yes, there's an extra credit where you can actually do one or the other, I think. Isn't that the one with the extra credit on it? Does anyone look at the very bottom of the assignment? No, there might be extra credit on it. So now we're doing the other way. Set liters to input. Then what's next?
Set gallons to liters and then
Set.
divide it by-
Yeah.
Look good? Spelled liters wrong. Litters. Got cats on my brain. Getting ready to go get another cat. So I know you've never seen this, but I had 2 rescue dogs, and one of them hated cats. So I literally built. We have these 2 10-foot tall cat trees, but I built ramps and holes through all my walls, so my cats can literally go from any room to any other room without ever touching the floor. They were fast. It was like racetracks to the house. But yeah, so well, those cats aren't there anymore. It's not fair. Okay, so let's test this now.
So we have it do both, not one or the other.
Is that what the homework says?
No, it says do both, but like when I was.
Well, I mean, you're doing one and then you do the other.
Okay.
Okay. Now I think the homework assignment, one of them says an extra credit at the bottom. Maybe it's the Python one. If you write it so you could select, would you like to calculate this or calculate this? That would be an if statement. So it would run and say, would you like to calculate liters to gallons or gallons to liters? So is this right? Let's test it. Okay. So we're going to say I enter 5 liters this time. Okay. How many gallons should that be then? How do we go the opposite way? Wow, this is like crazy. Liquid gallons. We want to do liquid gallons, liters. So 5 liters should be 1.32. So let's try this. So I got a calculator here. 5 divided by 3.7854118. Am I going to get the correct answer?
Yes.
I shouldn't. Did I? Wow, I actually got the correct answer. How did I get the exact correct answer? So, okay, yeah, maybe it is. Okay, yeah. Well, yeah, I guess that would be. I was thinking of it the opposite way. But simple to do? What do you think? Simple to do? I mean, that's all it is. There's really nothing. A lot of times I see students way overthink things and just. Again, I don't want to know how to get to Natalie's house that detail, but I want to know enough to write the program. But since this is really pseudocode, like, should I really tell it to convert it to a float? Well, maybe I need to in Python, but maybe I don't in Java or Visual Basic. So really let that be up to the programmer. Okay? This is what I want done. Here's how I want you to do it. But the exact implementation of it is up to you to decide. Okay? But when you're doing yours, check out the math. And then when you write a homework 2 and you do it again in Python, make sure the math works. Get your calculator out and There's the semantic errors. Remember when it's just didn't quite do what we wanted, or it compiled so it's not a syntax error. It ran fine so it's not a runtime error, but it didn't give me what I wanted. That's more of a semantic error. Like maybe I put a 1 here instead of a 3. It's really a logic type error. Hey, that's a stupid conversion. Okay? So everybody okay on that pseudocode and flowchart? Now let's write this thing in Python. Let's find Python here. Okay. Now I want to write a script to do this. So I'm actually in the interpreter now. What do I do to write a script? File, new file. I'm save it. And I'm going to call this one. I'll put it on my desktop. And by the way, when creating a new file, make sure you know where you're putting it. I'm putting it on my desktop in this folder. And what am I going to call this thing? Gallons to liters .py. Wait. Okay. So now let's convert this pseudocode to Python. So what do I do with start? Do I do anything in Python to handle the start? No, I just really don't. The start of my program is at the very top in Python. So how could I possibly prompt for how many gallons? Anybody?
Say input, and then print the string, how many gallons, and receive the input, set it to a float.
I can do that. There's another way. There's 2 different ways. Actually, let's do the way you just said. So we're going to do gallons equals input. See, if you put both parentheses, you're not going to be missing one. How many gallons? Okay. Now what do you think I should probably do? Write the next line of code? I could very easily. But it wouldn't hurt to hit F5. Make sure the darn thing works. 3. Well, did it work? And then I wonder how I could test and see if it actually worked. I did. I just saved it and ran it. This is what I got. Let me show you what I did. Okay. So I took my Python code right here and I hit F5 to save and run it. I entered 3. Obviously, that's all I asked it to do was get input. But is there a way I can test it if it actually worked? Yeah, type in gallons. So I'm still inside the interpreter. All I told it to do was get input for gallons, so it did. I got input for gallons. And then you should have a 3. Now, it's hard to make it so you can all see it there, but trying to make it so I can move it up a little. So there's mine so far. Does everybody kind of look the same? All right. So we got gallons. I'm trying to keep 5 windows going here. So let's go back. We need this window. Okay. Next thing, what do I do? Now, actually, hold that thought. I could have written this differently. I commented that line out. That's a comment. I could have written print how, that's not how, how many gallons? Then I could have said gallons equals input. Now let's try this one. Didn't do the exact same thing. It did the exact same thing. So which way do you like better? You like the part that's commented out or the part that's not commented out?
The commented out part.
Probably the commented out. It's more precise. But, you know, whichever way you like. So that's the thing about, you know, it drives me crazy sometimes when I get people that write programs and they're identical to other people's. And they're like, how else could you possibly write it? I mean, that's even one statement. We figure out a different way to write it. You can always write it differently. I bet there's 5 other ways we could have written that as well. But, you know, okay. So we got input. I'm just going to leave the commented out part so we know what it was in case you all ever wanted to refer back to it. What was our next part of our pseudocode? So we basically prompted for it.
Now we need to set.
We set gallons already.
Now we need to set liters to gallons.
Okay, let's do liters to gallons. I'm going to copy that number because I know we're going to need it. So now we need to set equals to times that. Is that correct? I'm going to run this, see what it yells at me about. Whoa. What's wrong? Let's try it. Let's run it again. Invalid syntax. Okay.
Set gallons as a float.
Oh, okay. Let's try that. Gallons equals float. Now let's try this. See if that fixes it. Still doesn't like it. What's going on? Actually, I don't know what's going on. What is going on? Don't you love it when you don't know what's going on? I mean invalid. Oh! Duh! I know what's going on. Anyone know? You don't use set. What? Okay. So I'm going to leave that float thing off for a minute. There's a reason. Okay. How many gallons? 3. Whoa. I had a problem here. I'm going to show you what happened again. There's my code. Actually, you don't really need parentheses in this one. Okay, that's my code. Let me move it up so those of you... Sorry, my computer's kind of in the way, but... Alright. Y'all got code similar to that? So I'm going to compile this, or not compile it. I'm going to save it and run it. It ran fine. So do I have any syntax errors? No, because it basically interpreted it. So I'm going to enter 3 gallons. Error. Trace back my recent call list. Says file blah, 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 blah. In module it says the line that's an error is liters equals gallons times this. Can't multiply sequence by non-int of type float. Whew. That's a lot of words. What the heck does that mean?
I have a question. If you entered like 3.0, would that work without having to like convert it?
Let's try it.
I'd rather have it the other way, but
Oh, let's go back to the correct code here. You mean put 3.0?
no, like when you inputted the like
Oh,
when it
oh,
asked
okay.
for the gallon, you know what I'm saying?
Like 3.0?
Yeah. So that would
The reason is if I type gallons, remember when I type gallons right here? That's what I got. That means it's a string. It's the string 3.0. It's kind of like when you work on web pages. You know how when you enter stuff into a web page, I don't care if it's a phone number, whatever, it's always entered as a string. Then you need to convert it to the variable type that you need. Well, we didn't specify what gallons was. In our code, wherever my code went, we did not specify anything about what gallons is, so it automatically got it as a string. So what we need to do is convert it to a float now. A couple different ways we could do that. We could say gallons equals float. Now that will convert it for us. Okay? Now when I run this, oh, no more error. Wasn't that handy? But there's another way. Anyone know another way I could have done that?
Put float around input.
I could put float around what?
Around input, how many gallons?
Actually, I've never tried that. Let's try that. That's actually a very good idea. I've just never tried it. Wow, it actually does work. Nice. So that's another way. Or I probably would have gone with this. I think I could have I think I can do this right here. Float. Right there, and that should do it as well. Yep, that'll do as well. So, obviously seeing there's many different ways to do it. We could convert it like this. We could have put float around this, or we could put float around this. It's really another name for that is what's called typecasting. I don't know if you ever heard of typecasting. We're changing its type. We're saying you are no longer a string. You are now a float in this case. Okay. Used very much in other languages as well. So either way, we got it done. And the cool thing is, our pseudocode didn't care. And since it didn't care, me as the programmer can say, fine, I like this. And then I could do it. Okay? So far, so good? Well, I'm just going to leave it at that one, because that's the last one we did. Now I'm going to output something. Print. I'm going to say, actually I'm going to say gallons is equal to liters. Not liters, liters. See how I did that? Why don't I have quotes around gallons? Anybody?
Because you want the number,
Right, I want the number. I want the variable gallons. I don't want the word gallons. I did the same thing with liters. I want to put out the number gallons is equal to then the number liters. Still got one issue with that statement. Let's see if y'all can find it. Actually, it worked. Okay, bizarre. I didn't know that was going to do that. Oh, that's right. Python does that. So really, I don't need to leave the space here because the comma automatically puts a space there. Okay, so there's what I get. Is that correct? What is 3 gallons converted to liters? Change this back to US gallons. 3 gallons gives us 11.3562. I would say our program worked perfectly. Y'all agree? Easy enough? So now that we know, we can take this off. What else should I plot? Okay, what else are you going to do in this program or else you're going to lose points for it? A heading. Let's put a heading up here. I like the file name gallons to liters.py. Then you can put your name, Ken Dewey. You can put a date. Maybe it's the September 6th. Then the thing most people skip, what does this thing do? Program Whoops. Jeez. And I would probably brought this over. How about gets input for gallons, converts to gallons, converts gallons to liters, and outputs result. What do y'all think? Kind of make what our program does? One thing that I'm going to yell at you if you do, don't put assignment number 3. That doesn't tell me what the stupid thing does. Oh, converts, maybe I spelled converts wrong. Comes to liters and outputs results. Okay, the first line, the file name, I like that because I know, see, I actually did work as a real live programmer, and when you're working with hundreds of thousands of files, it's always a good idea to have a clue which one this is. Because what happens if the names get changed? I do a lot in forensics, and a lot of times if data gets corrupt, you can recover the files, but you don't get the file names. So would it be nice to know that that was the actual name of the file? That maybe I could rebuild it and call it the right thing and not have to worry about it. Okay. Now, a lot of times I like to see code inside of it. This would be like multiply gallons by 3.7854118. Obviously, I know what that statement does. But think of it this way. Has anyone here got a grandma still? A couple of you? Did your grandma have a clue what that statement did?
No.
Probably not. So tell her. So do you think grandma could understand multiply gallons by 3.78? I could probably say 2 get liters or something. 2 get liters. So many times people are like, but it's intuitive. Yeah, but it's intuitive for you. And obviously, since I'm teaching the class, it'll be intuitive for me. But think about your grandma, or think about the other person who doesn't have a clue what Python is. And they're like, oh, so they're actually multiplying gallons times this number to actually get the liters. I mean, again, it's pretty simple, but I like to see comments about once every 10 lines of code at the minimum. I mean, you could put output on there, and you could do other stuff as well. You could say, get input for gallons. But, just put some comments. Make sense? So you could probably reverse this to do the other thing. Don't you agree? I don't need to do it for you? Okay, good. Get one over there for a second. So did that answer the question of we don't know what pseudocode is and how to actually use it? For your homework, at least. Good to do our homework? Convert whatever kilograms to pounds or something? Then Celsius to Fahrenheit? Okay. Now I want you to do the same thing, but this time we're going to do inches. No, I'm sorry. Feet to meters. Let's do feet to meters. So how can I take this pseudocode and change it? So I want to do feet to meters.
Where it says gallons, change it to feet.
There you go. And where I see gallons, change it to feet. Okay, I can do the same thing here. Not feet's feet. Okay, and then if I'm doing feet to what? Feet to meters. So what else do I need to do? Liters to meters, maybe? Liters to meters. By the way, this is the part you're submitting to your the assignment today. This is the in-class assignment, since we're doing it in class. Just saying. Not at home, in class. Okay. So are we done?
No,
Why not?
we got a conversion factors different.
So this number's wrong. So this is wrong. So what's the conversion factor? Somebody?
3.28084.
So feet times 3.28084 will give us meters?
Yeah.
Is he correct? How can we verify that?
I can look it up.
That's Google. Okay, I'm assuming he's right. So then down here I could just divide by that as well? All right, we're done with the pseudocode? What else should we probably do? Yeah, let's test this thing, make sure it's actually correct. Okay, so I got this awesome calculator here. So, I have 3 feet. So 3 times 3.28084 gives me 9.84 meters. So I'm going to bring this up. Feet. I'm going to change this from... This doesn't do length. Where's feet? Am I missing it? Oh, there it is. Cubic foot. To, what do we convert to? Meters?
Yeah.
Meters. Oh, there it is. Okay. So, if I enter 3 for feet, it's 0.8.
You have to enter it backwards.
Oh, I did it backwards. So you're saying I should probably divide here?
Yeah.
Let's try it. Bring them handy dandy calculator. It's a good idea to test these things. 3 divided by 3.28084. Still off.
I don't think you can use cubic feet and cubic meters.
Can't? Well, let's ask Google. How many...
That's pretty strong one.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. It will be linear, not cubic. Okay, so if I go change this, good catch, feet to meters, so how many feet did I put in? 5? 3? 0.91448. That's it. So it is correct now with the division symbol there rather than multiplication. So what's this one going to be? Multiplication. Well, there's the problem. I want to do this, but along the way from going from feet to meters, I wanted to convert it to inches first. So we got to fix this. I want feet converted to inches, then inches to centimeters, and centimeters to meters. I know it's weird. That's what the requirements say. That's why I need to do it. It drives me crazy when a student says, well, that's stupid. No, but that's what the requirements are. Do it. But it's stupid. I don't care. It's a learning process. So, now that we know feet to meters, I want to go feet to centimeters. No, I'm sorry, feet to inches, inches to centimeters, centimeters to meters. So how do we fix this? Maybe something right here?
So would you set feet for like...
Well, we already have feet set. That's our input. We got feet.
We can set inches equal to feet divided by 12.
There you go. Set inches to feet divided by 12. So is that going to be correct? So if I say 1 foot divided by 12, I get 12 inches. Is that correct? We hope. Okay. Now what are we going to set?
Centimeters to inches
Inches something. Is it either division or multiplication? What is it? 2.54 centimeters per inch. So, inches divided by, correct? inches times, no, it'll be divided by.
Inches are larger than centimeters.
Okay, centimeters to inches. So let's test this. So if I have 18 centimeters, and I want to divide it by 2.54, should be 7 centimeters. Is that right? No, that's not right.
7 inches.
Wait, I'm so
I'm so confused. Okay. We have 18 centimeters. I'm just going to put it here. 18 centimeters. So our current math says inches. Wait, no. We have 18 inches. I'm sorry. My bad. Totally bad. I have 18 inches.
So you
Multiply.
Let's make sure. So 18 times 2.54. So multiply. So let's do centimeters to inches. No, the other way around. Inches to centimeters. Oh, I did 18. Duh. Yes, we're correct now. All right. So that's multiply. So now what do we need to do?
Centimeters to
That's meters to meters.
So meters is equal to what?
centimeters times 100.
Do y'all agree? So if I did 45, okay. Yeah, that would be times. No,
easier.
it would be divided by. You're right. See, isn't it a good idea we're testing this thing? Else we got some screwed up stuff. Okay, so now it's tested. So if I enter 42 feet, I want to know how many centimeters, or and how many inches. So if I enter 42, so to get inches, divide by 12. So 42 divided by 12, I should get 3.5. Y'all agree? According to our math here. Then 3.5 times 2.54, 8.89 centimeters. And then we want to divide by 100. Let me write 0.0889. That's not right. What did we do wrong?
Oh, should it be?
Keep changing your numbers.
Did I? 42 is what we want.
It
Start
would be set inches to feet times 12. 1 foot equals 12 inches, so 1 divided by 12 would be 112 equals.
But no, if I start with 42 feet, I would divide that by 12.
No, you multiply it, right?
Yeah, you're getting more inches and feet.
Boy, I'm so glad we're testing this thing. So that's why we do this. Okay, so 42. 42 feet times 12. 500. That's looking better.
I was wondering, 3.5, like, what are we doing?
See, we're testing this thing. Because the problem is you guys would have written this and turn it in. And I'll be like, that's not right. Okay. So, feet to inches. Wait, hold on a second. So feet, okay, we got that one correctly. Then inches times 2.54 to get centimeters. Times 2.54. 1,280 centimeters, is that correct? Then divide that by 100. 12.8016. So 40. Oh, I did it on the wrong line. Crap. Whatever I just did, I screwed it up. How many centimeters was it?
1280.
It was 1280. Like that?
0.16, yeah.
0.16. I can't believe I wrote it wrong. So it ends up being 12.8016 meters. So let's check this. So now we're going to go with feet to meters. And I put in 42, 12.8016. Yay, it worked this time. Whew. A little bit tougher doing it that way?
Yeah.
Just a little. Okay, now I gotta write the Python code for this. Hurry up, we only got 5 minutes.
Wait.
Do today.
Is this the part that we're gonna turn into
Yep.
Python? Okay.
Turn into Python. Don't worry about fixing your comments. So what are we gonna get input for? Feet? So don't worry about fixing your comments because we don't have time. So feet to inches. Inches, and what did we do? We did feet times 12. Isn't this so much easier to write the code now that we already know the math behind it and everything? Then what do we have to do? Centimeters. CNTIMETE equals what? Inches times 254. So far so good? Right? Nope. Divided by. So if all goes well and I enter 42, I should end up with a 12.8016. Y'all agree? 42. Well, if I click in the right window, 40. What the heck, is it not on unlock? Centimeters is not defined. That's what I do wrong. Help me fix it. Which one?
You gotta float everything.
The second one's not spelled right.
And I shouldn't have to float everything because I should have kept the float since I forced it into a float. What did I start with? 42? Yes! 12.8016. Was that easy or what? So was it very handy to do the design first to make sure we knew what the heck we were doing and testing it and get it all, then we could very easily convert to Python. Everybody getting that? So that code right there, produces that output. So I want this code, this Python code, to be submitted into today's box. You might have to log off and log back on if it doesn't open for you.
Want us to rename it or anything?
Yeah, name it to feet to meters. So you feel happy you did that? Natalie, what do you think? You happy now?
Yeah.
She got it. Even though your name's wrong. That's okay. But it's Henry. I knew that because I had Linda Henry in class. Everybody get theirs to work? Okay. Anyone who didn't get it to work? Oh, okay. How many people are going to message me later? I had no idea what you're doing the entire day. I just didn't want to say anything.
It says name sent.
Okay, C-E-N.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yes.
I just.
Yours working?
Well, I don't have to wrote. So this is, I don't have to kill it. These are extra work. Okay, so.
Oh, what did you do? Go back to the other.
He never messaged me back.
Hit F5.
Let's get to this.
Okay, go back to the other one again. Something's going on. No, that shouldn't matter. Wait, is F, are your function keys turned on? Why isn't yours starting? That is,
Mine
Close
doesn't
that.
do that either, like automatically when you told me to press
Close that.
F5, it didn't
Yeah.
even.
now just go run in the bottom one, F5. What the heck is wrong with yours? I wonder if Python's not in your path correctly. Has yours ever run correctly?
Mhm.
It has? Can't see the other file, okay. That's actually what Python spread. You shouldn't have to open the new shell, because it should be there. Submit this, and put a comment in there, say, please let me know if this works or not, that way I can, if it works on mine, then we need to figure out which one it works.
Are you wanting us to submit just like this or just screenshot or no?
Just that actual PY code.
Okay.
Yeah, I want the actual .py code up there. See, a screenshot would be easier for me, but this way I know you guys at least know how to submit a Python program. So submit yours and just put a comment, please let me know if it doesn't work. That way if it doesn't work, I'll be able to work with you next time on your laptop.
So this, I'm supposed to write it 2 to 3 paper by tomorrow.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's, it's a little steep. It's a little steep. Do you work? No. I don't care, it's still.
You can, you don't have to. The reason you don't have to, because we originally got input in as a string. Right, but once we converted the input, it's automatically going to turn to stable.
Each,
Right,
what if you have 2 inputs?
then you have to do both.
And you have to designate one float.
No, you just say float. Float is just converting the string to a number,
Okay.
okay?
Oh,
Yeah, it's converting, because we got the string for feet,
I wish
then we had to convert it to a float, so that 42 becomes the number 42 rather than the character.
I don't necessarily have a preference.
Okay.
I get up.
Let me stop my recording here, since it's still going.